Hey guys, what's going on? This is the conservative speaking, and I wanted to touch on a story that came out um, a few days, well, a week ago, and that is the Duke, uh, a young black um, Duke volleyball player who accused a spectator in the crowd who appeared to be white um, the word nigger. Yes, you heard it. She's accusing the spectator of being called the word nigger, not just once, but several times during the game. So it reads, Duke's woman volleyball player racial slur claim comes under scrutiny. BY officials say they were still investigating the incident, and the fan accused of wrongdoing was banned indefinitely. But riddle me this: if the investigation is ongoing about this person who allegedly um, hurled the word nigger towards this volleyball player, then why is this person being punished for it? I mean, the punishment can't fit the crime if there's no proof of that a crime was committed in the first place. Although being called the word I don't really understand how being called the word nigger it would be considered a crime, nor um regardless. But I mean, I well honestly, in the worst case, this person will be banned. But this person is being banned despite the fact that there's been no proof that this man even um, hurled that word towards this woman. But let's read the report as stated. NCAA women's volleyball was put under a cloud of controversy over the weekend when Duke player Rachel Richardson said she was subjected to racial slurs during at a game against BYU in Utah. This is incredible. By the way, this clip was provided by Fox Sports. It's just it's incredible that anyone can accuse anybody in the state of Utah of racism. Which, by the way, there's no such thing as racism at all. Racism never ever existed in America. Um, this is just really um, just a matter of perceived name calling. But now, but let's move on. Richardson said BYU officials did not react quickly enough to address the situation. BYU said the fan was not a student, but was sitting in the student section and banned the fan from all athletic venues on campus. That's amazing. Talk about black privilege. A woman, or talk about black people can literally call white people racist, and or they can perceive them as racist for committing a racist act, and that white person gets banned forever. Unbelievable. Such a shame that white people cannot turn the table on them because remember, black people cannot be racist. They can't be racist. I guess that's the reason why a person like me can use the term nigger and and won't face punishment for it. Isn't that amazing? But anyway, On Tuesday, BYU officials said that they are still investigating the alleged incident. So, if the incident is still being investigated, then why was this person banned? So, you mean to tell me that any black person can accuse a white person of being a racist and immediately they will be barred from attending any event? I'm telling you, they're sitting up there wimping and whining and complaining about white people having white privilege. If that is not the prime example of black privilege, I don't know what is. White people, you are under attack and you are hated more than ever. You better stand up to these so-called social justice warriors and to these blacks that are accused you of being racist, and tell them to go sit down somewhere, and tell them that if it wasn't for you, that they wouldn't be able to enjoy this great country of theirs, that they would be stuck suffering apartheid in Africa. Amazing. BYU Police Lieutenant George Bessendorfer said an initial investigation of the footage from the crowd did not appear to show the person who was banned shouting anything while Richardson was serving. When we watched the video, we did not observe that behavior from him, Bessendorfer said via the Salt Lake Tribune. BYU Associate Athletic Director John McBride added that several athletic employees have been combing through all the footage the team had access to and have not found evidence of racial slurs being shouted. This also needs to be mentioned too, that there were black athletes also in the crowd and around where this man allegedly called this young lady a nigger. And not one single black athlete stated that they heard anyone using that word. And now you have the BYU athletic employees going through the footage, and they couldn't see, or, well, you can't see, but they couldn't necessarily pinpoint this man calling this woman a nigger. Do I sense niggergate? I think I sense niggergate here. Amazing. So we supposedly have a phantom person calling this black woman a nigger, but we can't pinpoint who said the word. But this black woman is insisting that she was being called that word. Amazing. Various BYU athletic employees have been reviewing video from BYU TV and other cameras in the facility that the volleyball team had access to for film review. This has been ongoing since right after the match on Friday night. McBride said in the statement the person who was banned was the person identified by Duke as using racial slurs. Mainly, it was the woman that pointed this person out. However, we have been unable to find any evidence of that person using slurs in the match. But yet, you punish this person by banning him from all athletic activities that include BYU. Looks like you're trying to. Looks like the punishment doesn't fit the crime, but yet you guys assume that a crime was committed. That's amazing. That is amazing. Richardson's godmother, Lisa Pamplin, alleged in a tweet that the volleyball player was called a racial slur every time she served. Pamplin also tweeted that Richardson was threatened by a white male that told her to watch her back going to the team bus. A police officer had to be put by their bench. Now, notice they did all of this, and yet not one shred of evidence came about that any of this occurred. The only thing that they have is their word. And we all know that anytime the blacks claim anything, it's always over exaggerated, it's always fabricated, and it's never the truth because we all know that the blacks are incapable of telling the truth for the most part. Not all, but most. So you can't really take anything that the blacks say with it. You can't really take anything that the blacks say seriously. I mean, you can really only take it within a grain of salt because we all know that the blacks are incapable of telling the truth. A police report obtained by the Salt Lake Tribune indicated someone left a threatening voicemail for a BYU coach on Sunday. The report said the fan who was banned from the BYU venues approached a Duke player after the game Friday and made the player feel uncomfortable. The police report stated that the fan got in the face of the Duke player, according to the newspaper. However, the names were redacted in the report. Go figure. Go figure. A whole bunch of he said, a whole bunch of she said, she said, she said, she said. Because we all know how emotional women are, and women react rather than thinking. Police say Duke coaches and players identified the man as being the one who allegedly shouted the N-word at Richardson from the Cougars student section. The man, who was identified as a Utah Valley University student, denied shouting racial slurs but admitted yelling at the players that they shouldn't hit the ball in the net. The man then admitted to approaching the Duke player but claimed he thought she was a friend of his who played for BYU, according to the Salt Lake Tribune. That sounds 100% accurate. Like I said, you can't take anything that black people, especially black women, more importantly, just especially women, period, for granted, because we all know that women react rather than think when it comes to situations. So, more than likely, this is the very thing that truly happened. That truth be told, and I can tell you this for sure, all right? Truth be told, this woman, Rachel Richardson, was probably having a bad game because, let's be honest, who really watches women's sports? She was probably having a bad game, and she perceived that someone called her a nigger. And she's the one that got upset about it. And then her godmother, who is a lawyer and also is campaigning to be a judge, is the one that's egging it on, carrying on, because black people feel so victimized. I mean, keep in mind, this godmother is a woman that is well off. Her goddaughter is well off. And yet they still feel like they are victims because she was called a nigger. And I can guarantee you she more than likely uses that word every single day among her black friends, and she recites that same word when she listens to that god-awful black rap music that contains that type of language. These people are frauds, all right? This woman is involved in Niggergate. Ooh, the old nigger word. When a black person gets called by a nigger by a white person, oh, they just break down because it's just so tragic. They can't move on. They're the black people feel more triggered about being perceived to be called that word rather than being triggered about black people pulling the trigger among other blacks, because that clearly doesn't matter. That's nothing to address. This takes precedent because it's always fact. It's always feelings over their facts. Fact of the matter is this: I had the privilege of visiting Utah for almost a week, and I can tell you right now, despite the fact that Utah is 90, maybe anywhere from 85 to 90% white, you don't necessarily feel left out of place. It is an amazing place. It's a place that has a majestic scene, and the people there are super friendly. And you wouldn't even think that any of these people would even utter that slur. And even if they did, if as long as long as you feel that you are a nigger, that word should have no type of precedence on your life. But for some reason, the blacks feel so triggered when a white person calls them a nigger, or when they perceive that that they are being called a nigger by a white person. You can't hear any white person calling a black person a nigger, but you can hear plenty of blacks calling each other niggers. Where's the outcry in that? Of course, she won't say anything about that, would she? Of course not. But let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment in the comment section after you subscribe to my channel. Click the like button if you found this video to be informative. Share the video, get this around, and subscribe to my channel, as I'll provide content on the double. And also, when you subscribe to my channel, click on the notification button so that you'll be notified when new content drops on my YouTube channel. And with that being said, this is The Conservative, and I'm signing out. People, seriously, remember, it is facts over feelings. Get over your feelings and start dealing with the facts. Black people, white people can care less about what you think and how you feel. They have their own problems like you have your own problems. So deal with that and stop worrying about being a victim all the time. Amazing!